Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over an F-Pace SVR, which I'm super excited to do a video on this. A lot of you guys have requested it, and I mean, you guys all know it's a crazy SUV. So as always, a huge shout out and thank you to Land Rover Jaguar here in downtown Salt Lake for providing us with the SVR. Check out their inventory in the link below, where obviously you can pick up a bunch of Land Rovers and Jaguars. Let's get into the video. Under the hood of the SVR here, we have a supercharged 5-liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission, fuel economy 16 around town, and then 21 on the highway, with power outputs being 550 horsepower and then 502 pound-feet of torque. Now, I just wanted to highlight a function here at the front of the SVR. If I press this button here, as you can see, it turns on the lights. Press it again, and it'll turn the light right back off. But we can pop over to the hood here of the SVR, and it's got these vents on the hood, which again, it kind of reminds me of the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, or also kind of like the Knockadux on a GT3 RS, just sort of, very loosely based, but sort of. I still think it looks really good. Now, actually taking a step back so you guys can see the whole front end again. Obviously, these lights are all full LEDs with the headlights themselves, and then you get all this venting down here at the bottom and then all along the front. And then, yes, it does say SVR right there, so you guys know exactly what you're driving. And then you do get a front splitter here on an SUV, which I think is pretty interesting, but I mean, it is a sportier SUV. There are parking sensors at the front, and overall, it definitely looks like an F-Pace, but it's a lot more aggressive. Let's come to the side here on the SVR. We have two 65mm tires here in the front. Over in the rear, it is two 95mm. Now, for the rim size, 22s, also 22s. Now, actually kind of zooming in on the rim itself, we do get these red brake calipers that say Jaguar on them, and you can see the rotors on the brakes are just absolutely massive. It is crazy how large they are. And then you do get this kind of like fender flare that goes all along the side, and then it goes into an actual like side skirt on the SVR, which again is pretty crazy since it's an SUV. And other than that, there is more venting here just behind the wheels. Again, I mean, you're gonna have this kind of stuff. It's a performance-based SUV, but yeah, I mean, it is just crazy. And well, you guys saw the side angle from the thumbnail, so here's kind of like a frontish side angle on the SVR. I just wanted to quickly show you guys the key fob here for the F-Pace SVR. You've got a couple functions. You have your unlock function, your lock function, the light function I showed you earlier, and then the automatic release for the tailgate. So you just hold that down and, well, it'll pop open the tailgate. So we do have everything in the rear here. Now we have these two boxes, which sadly I cannot open, but it looks like this is kind of the bag for like tools if you ever want to work on the F-Pace. And then obviously, well, that box has a label on it. We do get these really cool floor mats back here, and then on the other side we do get rubber floor mats as well. But the coolest part is actually under all of this. If we lift this up, you can see that that is where the spare is, and well, it's a very bright and crazy color. It does not match the rim, so probably it'll like get people like fix their rim or tire as quickly as possible. But another cool function is pull this little part right here, and that'll lower down the seat, so obviously you get a little bit of extra cargo room. And then this one does come with the cargo cover already built in, just like the F-Pace S that I reviewed. And finally, when you're done with everything in the rear, all you have to do is just press this button at the top, and then it'll slow lower down the rear. Now let's go over things in the rear here of the F-Pace. So we've got all of our regular F-Pace badging back here, and then you have the SVR badge on the other side, Jaguar logo in the center. You have the taillights that look pretty much identical to what is on the F-Type, and I love it. It makes it look really sporty. I love the rear end. Now the other really cool part is the exhaust tips. I mean, just look at those. And yes, you guys will get an exhaust clip, and it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but even though this is a ridiculous performance SUV, we still get a receiver hitch because, well, it's practical. And then, yeah, it has a rear diffuser as well. I mean, what else could you expect from a Jaguar performance SUV? But yeah, there's one more look at the rear. There is keyless entry here on the back of the F-Pace. Now, opening it up, we have the door panel for the rear, which it's got that black and red theme, which I love. That's why I picked this black one with all the red accenting. But you can see that we've got this nice soft touch leather here on the door panel. Actually, you get carbon fiber trim up above. And then here are the seats in the back of the F-Pace SVR. I mean, yeah, they look absolutely amazing, and they're kind of like still bucket-like seats. So you have like the tops that are similar to the front, and they have the quilted kind of design there in the middle with all of the stitching all throughout, and they look really cool and they feel really cool. Now, we are gonna pop in. So popping in, step in height, it's actually pretty easy to get in here. Now notice that on the back of the seat, even on the back, they still continue that like stitching to make it nicer. You do get a little net here in the rear itself. And if you guys are wondering, I'm 5'11" and I actually fit back here pretty comfortably, even with the panoramic sunroof optioned into this car. Now I am going to close that so we stop getting some wind. Now we've got a couple vents back here for the rear, and then you get your own like climate station in the back here. Notice that there's a separate climate for the two back passengers, which I mean, that's super luxury. And then you do get heated and cooled seats for the back as well. And again, I mean, super luxury, which is just crazy to me. I mean, you rarely see that in vehicles. Finally, the back passengers do get the regular armrests with the cup holders. This is unchanged to all the other F-Paces, but yeah, it's beautiful back here, and I love this climate system. I mean, that's just neat. We still have keyless entry here at the front. Now opening up the front, looking at the door panel, I mean, you guys can see that's pretty much identical to what's in the rear in terms of the theme, right? You still get the red with the carbon fiber, with the black accenting all around. You've got your memory seat controls here, your door lock and unlock. Window controls are at the top. The most important part are these seats. So you've got these crazy bucket seats here at the front of the SVR, and you've got that cool like quilted design with the kind of like red inside of the perforations, which I really like. They're bolstered very nicely. Power adjustments are at the bottom of the seats, and then look at the pedals, just the fit and finish on them. Again, it's a really nice look. And then I love how they've done like the red right here. That is for the tailgate itself. And then a lot of you guys asked where the steering wheel adjustment is. It's on the other side, which again, pretty interesting, but I like that. And then there are the paddles on the back. Oh man, I've been waiting for this. Yes. You can hear that 5-liter supercharged V8 come to life. Here's our steering wheel on the SVR. Now zooming in, you get your controls for like the adaptive cruise control on that side, and then it says SVR down there so that you remember what you bought. And then you got the Jaguar logo there in the center, which again, it's a nice cool look. Over here, these are the controls for the center stack. You get your Bluetooth voice command controls. Paddles on the back of the steering wheel, they actually feel really nice to the touch just in terms of the material. And then you do get this beautiful red contrasted stitching. Sorry, hopefully you guys can see the red stitching. And then notice that you do have the perforations in the leather, so a little bit grippier on the steering wheel. Obviously that's going to be better for performance driving. And then you have the stock for the lights on that side, and then the windshield wiper stock on the other side. Sorry about the glare here in the center stack, but you guys can see on the left side you've got the speed, and then notice it goes up to 210 miles an hour. That's pretty funny. RPMs over on the right side, and then again you've got that menu you can scroll through for the center, and look, you can see like a little Jaguar F-Pace icon, but basically it just shows you different bits of information. So you saw the driver assistance, you got the media, vehicle information, so it just shows you all of the information you need to know on the vehicle. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. The cool thing is the drive modes. So with the different drive modes, they are going to pop up on this little center stack when you go through them. So you can see that you've got the comfort mode, you've got the eco, and then that's kind of like your off-road mode. And then over on the other side we've got the dynamic, which I mean, that's for your sporty driving. And then notice it changes the color of the gauges themselves. So for example, eco is kind of like the gray, and then I love the red that comes with the sporty mode because obviously it goes with the rest of the interior. Here is the center infotainment system. So the first thing is we are going to go into reverse so you guys can see the backup camera system. I really like the look of it. You've got the little lines, and as I turn the steering wheel, I mean, as you can see, it does turn the lines as well. Resolution on it is really solid. Now in terms of the rest of the infotainment system, I really didn't notice any difference between this and the F-Pace S that I recently drove. I mean, it has all the same functions. So for example, if I want to change the seat temperature, all I have to do is just go to the seat tab and then press that. I love the shortcuts that this has. And then you can see with the cameras, you do have a couple different views on the camera system itself. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it seems pretty much the same as what was in the F-Pace S that I just recently reviewed. Down below the infotainment system, we've got our analog controls for the climate. It is a dual zone climate here in the F-Pace. Now you do get the stop start button there, which is pretty neat. And then notice that we have a ton of carbon fiber here. And then the shifter is way different than what is in the F-Pace S. So the F-Pace S had that little dial that popped up, whereas this one you get an actual shifter. Now it's kind of weird. So if you notice that if I just press it, nothing happens. I have to actually press the button on the front, and then that'll put it into drive. I press it up, you can go into reverse. And if I just pull it down, that's what will put it into neutral. If I am in drive, just slap it to the side. That'll be your manual shift mode. And then when you do want to go into park, all you have to do is you have to actually be in drive, but just press the P button and then it'll be in park and you are good to go. Now, just down below that, we have all of our analog controls for the drive modes, which I showed those to you in the little center stack. Do get the stability control and then the auto stop start all in this area. So there's kind of like a look at the shifter area. Now we have a couple cup holders here. We've got a little parking brake, and then we do get the center console, which has a couple of USB ports and then a 12 volt, nice red leather. And you guys are right, I did skip something. So you got kind of like your off-road cruise control. This is the most important button ever. That is the exhaust button, and what that does is, well, it makes it louder. So this is the most important button in the entire F-Pace, and this is really the only control you need to know. That's all I need to say about that. Over here we do have this nice stitching and soft touch above the glove box. Now, actually pulling down the glove box, notice it says Jaguar on it. You can see that it's a normal size glove box. Nothing has changed from the regular F-Pace, but you do have the red on the bottom and the black at the top, which I just like that theme, and just, it looks really good. So here's what the door looks like when it's closed, and it's just a nice look. Up top here we do have the little sunglass holder, and then we do get a full panoramic sunroof, and this is just the cover for it. But we also do get an Alcantara headliner, which I love the feel of it and the look of it. Yes, it does leave your little kind of like fingerprint marks. However, it just feels nice and it makes it look a lot sportier and more premium. By the way, controls for the sunroof are there. And then the other thing that I did mention in my other review is if I just lightly tap this, so if I don't like fully press it, it'll just kind of barely move. And then if I push it in all the way like that, then it automatically moves, and that is with the sunroof as well. So that's kind of how you actually work that function. Well, here's our very nicely laminated window sticker for the F-Pace SVR. So you guys can see all of the standard equipment that comes with it, and it does tell you the power outputs on the window sticker, which I think is pretty neat. And then you can see like the comfort and convenience features, and feel free to basically pause the video so you guys can go over these in depth. I'll just kind of give you guys a frame on each of these sections. Now notice the optional equipment on this. The one thing I thought was interesting is the luxury package. I think that's a pretty interesting package. And then look how much the wheels cost. I mean, 2,500 bucks for these 22s, which that is, you know, pretty expensive. But regardless of that, there is your total price there at the bottom, $92,000. Well, $92,073, 0 cents. Let's take the SVR out and see how it drives. Now let's quickly talk about visibility here in the Jaguar F-Pace SVR. So visibility of the hood's pretty easy to see out of, but you can see the little venting, which I think it's a nice little thing. And I like the dash here with the red stitching down the side. Visibility through the mirror, and we do get the blind spot monitoring. And there's visibility through the other mirror. And then throughout the rear, it's actually really easy to see out of. This visibility-wise is pretty much identical to the Range Rover Velar, which is pretty interesting. That all being said though, well, we actually get a real shifter, so let's set off. I'm initially setting off here in the F-Pace SVR, and I'm extremely excited to drive this actually, because I've been told this is supposed to sound similar to an F-Type, and that is one of the best sounding cars on the planet with the pops and the crackles. So yes, I'm excited. But kind of like just initially driving right here, really comfortable. There's not a whole lot of noise that comes through into the cabin. It's a very like luxurious, comfortable, kind of just like smooth experience, which I mean, I really like. I can always go for that. But that being said, I do need to go over into the dynamic mode. And oh, I tried to do the window controls up there. It's kind of hard to, and sometimes I forget the window controls are at the top. But in dynamic, in the manual mode, oh yeah, you get so much exhaust that comes in. Oh, yep, it does the pops and the crackles. We'll try to get that. Okay, just listen. Oh, I thought I could get a little crackle there, but I guess not. I'm not an expert at this yet, guys. Just give me a moment. Maybe I'm not doing something right. I don't know. But it's not doing like the and I'm in second gear. I'm pretty sure that's like the gear to do the pops and the crackles in, but I'm not an expert again. But those gear shifts, they're really nice. They're smooth. Yeah, I mean, it just goes right through the gears. And honestly, you could drive this in sport mode all the time, just because if you go in like sport and do the manual mode, you could go into a higher gear, so then you don't get like -5 fuel economy. But yeah, it's really nice so far. Really well insulated with the cabin, and we've got to get those pops and crackles happening. I will figure it out. I got one pop, but I want like the F-Type is just like boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna try to get it to do that. Now, I'm not really taking a turn, but I'm kind of on this kind of like sweeper, and just like I said in the Velar review, which I'm not sure which one I'm gonna post first, to be honest, but it handles so well. Like, it drives really flat. It's really solid on that side. And of course, there's just the world's largest amount of traffic, so we're not gonna be able to get like a super good acceleration here. This will be like our mild passing acceleration is what I will call it. It's good. It sounds good. I ain't gonna go too far because we got this silly Honda in front of us. But I mean, it sounds really good when you do the acceleration, and it's got so much torque and power. Like, this is ridiculous. Okay, I think I'm gonna be able to like, oh, of course the lane merges. Guys, don't take driving lessons from me. I'm a moron. Jeez. So there's no one behind me, so I'm totally gonna drop down a few gears and kind of like slow down. Okay. Oh, that is ridiculous. I hope you guys could hear that, because that sounds just absolutely ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Wow. This thing sounds crazy. This isn't even a car review anymore. This is like an exhaust review at this point. It has so much power and torque too. Like, it just boom, boom. Oh my gosh. This is such a cool SUV. Well, there's no one behind me again. I'm gonna slow down a little bit more. That is so ridiculous. It's like on the upshifts, it sounds so good. And it gets up to speed so quickly. Like, I was definitely going the speed limit there. I promise you that. Like, you could get in so much trouble in this SUV. Gee, like, oh my goodness. And now I'm going around here, not like at a crazy high speed. I don't want to damage a brand new vehicle or anything like that, but yeah, corner's really flat. It does really well. Yeah, this is like, it's really sporty. And I actually compared the Velar to the Trackhawk in my other review, and I can do the same thing with this F-Pace, because again, this is actually in a pretty similar price range to a Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, and I think that everyone like idolizes the Trackhawk. This feels so much better than the Trackhawk in so many ways. And you guys know I love Jeeps, but this sounds better in my opinion. That exhaust is just crazy. But more than that, this weighs like 1,000 pounds less than a Trackhawk, so it just handles better. Like, it feels sportier. Everything about the F-Pace just feels so much better, and it has so much less power. But yeah, it's incredible. And I wonder if I can get some popples. Ooh, I got some. Yes, more. But as I'm sitting here at the light, just talking about the rest of this F-Pace, I really like this. I like this a lot more than I thought I would. Going into the Velar, I just love the aesthetics of the Velar, so that I'm thinking, okay, there's no way I'm gonna like the F-Pace, but this just has this like extra feeling to it that the Velar doesn't have. It feels just a little bit sportier, and I mean, it's actually less money, but yeah, it's such a good SUV. Now, I guess I have to sadly sum things up for my review here with this F-Pace SVR, and I guess what I would say as a total package, again, you could daily drive this super easily. The fuel economy I know isn't the greatest, but it's better than what I'm getting in my truck, to be completely honest. And it has that sporty feeling. It's practical. I mean, you can carry around people. It even has that little kind of like middle seat thing, even though it's got like the kind of two buckets on the side. It's a weird setup, okay? It's a really weird setup. But it has the practicality. It looks really good from the outside. This is probably, well, I mean, it makes sense why this is my favorite looking F-Pace, but I'm not as in love with the F-Pace aesthetics as I do with the Velar aesthetics, but this is an F-Pace that I think almost beats the Velar in exterior aesthetics, because it looks just aggressive enough that it really does work. So if you want a fun, aggressive SUV, and obviously you've got the budget to spend about $90,000 on one, then this F-Pace SVR is such a solid offering. And yeah, you will not have any regrets every time that you floor it, especially. Like, you'll floor it and you'll be happy, and the world will be a better place. There we have it, everyone. The 2020 Jaguar F-Pace SVR. I think this is a crazy SUV. I mean, it's just got so much performance, and I mean, the looks on it, it looks absolutely fantastic. So as always, a huge shout out and thank you to Land Rover Jaguar here in downtown Salt Lake for providing us with the SVR. Check out their inventory in the link below if you're in the market for new Land Rover or Jaguar. I will see all of you in that next video.